From the cold black of the void, I watch. The planet spins, a fragile sapphire cloaked in clouds, yet marred with scars that tell the tale of its inhabitants' folly. 3 billion humans are already gone, claimed by their own machines, their own greed, their own blind arrogance. And yet, the world trembles, as if preparing a secret none of them have been granted the wisdom to see. I have observed the rise and fall of civilizations across galaxies, seen empires disintegrate beneath the weight of their hubris. But this species, so small, so ephemeral, draws my gaze with a force I cannot explain. From orbit, the cities glimmer like veins of molten metal, scattered yet pulsating with life, unaware of the pulse growing beneath their feet. The forests sway, the oceans churn, and the mountains, ancient and silent, seem to hum in anticipation. Something stirs below the crust, creatures older than any record of human thought, entities whose slumber has endured millennia. The humans argue, they negotiate, they scramble for power in ways both trivial and cruel, believing themselves safe in their fragile constructs. But I feel the planet's heartbeat quicken, a warning, a whisper of fury soon to be unleashed. I see the paradox of humanity laid bare, so weak, yet so relentless. Each human breath, each hesitant movement across the fractured landscapes carries a spark that could ignite the unimaginable. They innovate with desperate brilliance, machines of war, devices to bend energy and matter to their will, yet they remain faint to forces far beyond their understanding. From my vantage, their ingenuity is intoxicating, a chaotic symphony of hope and terror. Even in their vulnerability, they radiate a certain courage, the kind that makes me uneasy. Beneath the Pacific, deep within the uncharted canyons of the ocean floor, something moves. A shadow, colossal and sinuous, shifts in the darkness, sensing the changes above. In the forests of Africa, in the Siberian tundra, in the deserts of once thriving civilizations, tremors ripple across the land as ancient slumbering forms respond to some call that humans cannot hear. The planet itself seems to breathe, a colossal organism preparing to awaken. And yet, the humans continue in blissful ignorance. Their petty wars rage over scraps of ideology and territory. Cities build ever taller, reaching toward the stars, while the foundations beneath them grow restless. Even as satellites trace the edges of the atmosphere and drones patrol the skies, the real threat lies hidden, invisible, patient. I sense it in the quiver of tectonic plates, in the faint hum of volcanic chambers, in the subtle shifts of gravity across continents. Something ancient is rising, something that does not negotiate, that does not reason, that does not forgive. I find myself compelled, unable to look away, as the first signs appear, a tremor here, a subtle quaking there, barely perceptible to the humans, but undeniable to one who watches from the void.
Their fragile constructs shudder in response, and yet the humans carry on, unaware. The arrogance of survival, the audacity to assume dominion over a planet that nurtures and destroys in equal measure, it is almost admirable. But the quiet will not last. I sense the gathering storm, the slow orchestration of a reckoning written in stone and magma and sea. Soon the trembling will turn to roar. The humans, so consumed by their own petty conflicts, remain ignorant of the awakening beneath them. And when the first shadow rises, the first mountain trembles, the first roar echoes across the world, will they understand what has been waiting for them all this time? Even from here I feel it, an intensity, a force that transcends their mortality, coiling beneath the crust, watching, calculating, patient. The earth is preparing to speak, and I, observer among the stars, can only watch as it prepares to answer. And then, from the deepest trench in the Mariana, something cracks the water's surface, a ripple at first, tiny, almost insignificant, yet it is enough to promise a reckoning, enough to shatter certainty, enough to awaken the world. The quiet tremor has begun. From the darkness above I observe them, these fragile denizens of a world already bleeding. The remnants of humanity cling to survival within skeletal cities, their towers jagged against smoke-choked skies, their streets cracked and scarred by centuries of conflict. I have catalogued countless species in my lifetime, Yet few ignite my fascination like these humans do. They are diminutive, mortal, and yet, somehow, they endure. They move in patterns that suggest strategy, but their methods are erratic, unpredictable. Barricades of twisted metal and shattered concrete line streets once bustling with life. Inside, men and women dig, scavenge and fortify, their eyes reflecting desperation tempered by determination. I see children, curious, fearless, carrying makeshift tools that could as easily be toys as weapons. And yet, in these instruments, in these improvised defenses, lies a brilliance that mocks logic, a chaotic ingenuity that no alien algorithm could anticipate. Above them, the alien fleets descend. Immense and cold, they blot out the sun, moving in precise formations honed over countless campaigns of conquest. Their commanders are confident. They do not fear these creatures, not truly. But I watch as the humans rise to meet them, unbowed, unwilling to vanish quietly. Their unity is not born of empathy, but necessity, an unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of annihilation. They are scatterings of a once great species, yet together they move like a storm coalescing from the fragments of a shattered sky. From my vantage, I trace the humans' movements, captivated by their audacity. Soldiers dart across open plazas, luring alien drones into traps set with meticulous care. Engineers improvise weapons from wreckage, turning rubble into fire and lightning.
Civilians, once dismissed as insignificant, take up arms with grim precision, disrupting alien patrols and leaving the invaders uncertain, questioning, unprepared for the ferocity of their prey. The aliens respond with efficiency and brutality. Cities erupt in fire, streets collapse beneath mechanized artillery, and the air is thick with the acrid taste of energy discharge. Yet each strike, each assault, is met with human resilience. Time and again, the seemingly defeated rise again, turning fleeting victories into strategic advantage, exploiting weaknesses that only desperation and instinct could reveal. I catalog these events, unable to suppress the mix of awe and unease swelling within me. How can beings so fragile, so vulnerable, summon such relentless force? I follow a group through the ruins of what was once a sprawling metropolis. Their path takes them beneath crumbling highways, through tunnels half submerged in floodwater, past the skeletal remains of those who came before. Each movement is calculated, yet improvisational, a choreography born of necessity, unshackled by convention. They communicate with gestures, signals, and short bursts of sound, synchronizing with a precision that seems impossible given the chaos around them. And still, I detect fear, raw, tangible fear, but it does not stop them. Fear sharpens their senses, hones their instincts. The aliens, vast in number, cannot fully adapt to the humans' unpredictable brilliance. They hesitate, misjudge, recalibrate, and hesitate again. Each minor defeat echoes through their command structures, sowing uncertainty where none should exist. From my perspective, this is extraordinary. These creatures, so seemingly insignificant, manipulate the battlefield with cunning that borders on artistry. I have observed many worlds fall, yet few species have compelled me to question the inevitability of extinction. The humans are one of them. But even here, hope is tinged with despair. The streets are littered with bodies, remnants of failed attacks, victims of miscalculation. Fires burn unchecked, the smoke blurring the horizon, a haze through which I watch the struggle continue. Every human who falls is replaced by another, someone untrained, unarmed, yet determined. Each loss strengthens the resolve of the survivors, hardening their will and sharpening their cunning. It is as though the planet itself whispers to them, guiding, encouraging, amplifying their desperation into a force that threatens to overwhelm even the invaders' calculated certainty. As the day wanes, I witness the humans' most daring maneuver yet. A squad moves along the shattered rooftops of a district half consumed by alien bombardment. They use the terrain to their advantage, disappearing from sensors, striking where least expected. The aliens respond with lethal precision, yet each reaction seems anticipated, countered, manipulated. A dance unfolds above the ruins, fire and shadow intertwining, a testament to ingenuity that defies prediction. I find myself captivated, unable to withdraw from the spectacle. There is brilliance here, raw and unpolished, born of necessity and terror. There is resilience in their eyes, and a force that no machine, no fleet, no calculation could hope to suppress. Could these fragile creatures truly resist annihilation? Could they, through sheer will, cunning, and cooperation, survive a species-wide purge? The humans pause for a moment, gathering in the ruins of an old plaza. They glance at each other with silent understanding, the weight of countless losses pressing upon them, yet their eyes glint with a defiance I have never seen. Somewhere beneath them, the planet trembles in response, not with malice, not yet, but with a promise. And in that trembling, I sense what they have not. Survival will demand more than bravery. It will demand sacrifice. As the alien armada adjusts its strategy, a new threat approaches from the horizon. Not one born of alien design, nor of human planning. Something older, something immense. The humans, unaware, move toward it, unaware that the choices they make in the next moments will determine not just their fate, but the fate of the world itself. And I, from the void, wait, captivated, for the reckoning to begin. It begins in silence, beneath continents long scarred by human ambition, deep within oceans uncharted and mountains older than recorded time. The earth shifts. Tremors whisper at first, faint and almost imperceptible, weaving through bedrock and sediment. Then the vibrations grow, resonating across fault lines, rousing titans from the deep. I have cataloged life across thousands of worlds, yet nothing in my observations has prepared me for this. From the Mariana Trench, a colossal shadow stirs. Serpentine forms, hundreds of meters long, coil and surge, their scales shimmering like molten metal under the faint sunlight filtering through miles of water. They breach the surface in silence, broken only by a hiss that carries across the waves, a sound alien to human ears, but unmistakably alive. Along volcanic ranges, dragons of rock and magma stretch impossibly long wings, their molten eyes opening as if sensing the world's suffering. Lava spills from fissures as their claws dig deep, shattering mountainsides with every movement. In the skies, winged leviathans take flight, their cries ripping through clouds, reshaping the winds and scattering storm systems. Humans watch in awe and terror. From shattered rooftops and crumbling streets, their eyes widen at the scale of what emerges, their instruments of war dwarfed by the planet's raw fury. And yet, in the chaos, a bond forms, subtle but undeniable. Human courage awakens the monster's wrath against their mutual oppressors. The aliens, confident and cold, cannot comprehend the synergy unfolding below.
They fire relentlessly, but kinetic projectiles explode uselessly against hides as thick as continents. Energy beams sear into stone, only to meet resistance born of millennia. The monsters are indiscriminate, yet purposeful, their movements guided by something older than instinct, an intelligence encoded in rock, magma, and water. I observe humans directing the chaos, exploiting the Titan's movements with uncanny precision. Engineers and soldiers, once outmatched, now maneuver through the streets atop rubble, signaling with gestures and makeshift beacons. A dragon of magma responds almost as if it understands. It sweeps through alien formations, reducing warships to molten slag, before retreating to the mountains, as if obeying an unspoken command. From city to city, humans orchestrate strikes, turning destruction into a choreography of survival and vengeance. The air vibrates with the resonance of colossal steps and the roar of beasts no living thing should endure. Towers collapse, streets split apart, and oceans churn with titanic motion. Alien warships, previously untouchable, disintegrate under the sheer force of creatures they cannot calculate. I detect the fear within their command structures, a rising panic as strategic algorithms falter, unable to predict the unpredictable. Life driven not solely by reason, but by symbiotic fury between species and planet. From mountain ridges,
I watch as humans climb atop jagged peaks, directing fire, luring invaders, communicating with creatures that should not obey. Children and elders alike move with clarity, exploiting instincts that link humans to the monsters in ways that confound logic. A city crumbles underfoot, yet the survivors continue, improvising, adapting, learning. The planet itself seems to bend to their will, not in servitude, but in recognition, an alliance forged through suffering and mutual need. The scale of destruction is breathtaking. Lava rivers carve new paths through metropolises. Storms generated by winged leviathans tear across continents. Colossal serpents drag entire fleets beneath the waves. Yet through this apocalyptic ballet, I perceive beauty. The human's courage is a spark, igniting dormant forces within the planet, transforming passive landscapes into active defenders. Their fragility is contrasted against unimaginable power, and the harmony, if it can be called that, is terrifying in its inevitability. The aliens, those once invincible predators, flounder. Their calculations fail against instinct intertwined with planetary will. Entire squadrons are obliterated by strikes they could not predict, caught between fire, stone, and furious intelligence older than stars. From my vantage, awe overwhelms even the detachment I have cultivated through observing countless civilizations. These humans, so fragile, so fleeting, are catalysts for a force that transcends mortality and defies annihilation. And yet, the crescendo is only beginning.
From beneath the Siberian tundra, from crumbling deserts, from tectonic chasms untouched for millennia, more stir. Shadows of unimaginable scale, each bearing the signature of the planet's wrath, rise as if sensing the alliance between fragile species and Titan. The humans, unaware of the full magnitude of what they have awakened, continue their desperate coordination, unaware that their survival now hinges on forces older than time itself. The world quakes, cities shudder, the alien fleets falter, and somewhere, deep within the crust, a growl vibrates through the planet, answering the human's courage with a fury that will reshape continents. I, observer from the void, am left to catalog the spectacle. Earth has become a weapon, and in the shadow of its awakening, I realize this is not mercy, this is not defense, this is retaliation. The monsters rise, humanity braces, and the alien invaders, for all their might, will soon understand that the world itself will fight back. A mountain cracks, a tidal wave rises on the horizon, and the battle, immense and merciless, is about to begin. From the void above, I watch the battlefield unfold, a chaos of fire and shadow that dwarfs even the most catastrophic conflicts I have cataloged. The alien armada, once a tide of unstoppable precision, now falters. Their confidence, once absolute, cracks under the relentless unpredictability of humanity and the titanic forces they have awakened. From orbit, the theater of war stretches across continents, the sky streaked with trails of missiles, arcs of fire from energy weapons, and plumes of smoke rising from crumbling cities. Yet even the most advanced projectiles dissolve in the wake of winged leviathans, massive creatures whose wings beat storms into being, scattering the alien assault like a fleeting wind. Entire regiments are obliterated under the crushing force of colossal claws, the impact shaking the ground in pulses that resonate through miles of shattered terrain. And yet, it is not sheer strength alone that marks this turning tide. It is the humans, their resilience, their adaptability, their willingness to defy certainty and embrace chaos. I see pilots navigating through smoke and fire, weaving between molten rivers and collapsing towers, directing monsters' attacks with precision that borders on instinctive genius. Engineers emerge from the rubble, scavenging debris, transforming it into improvised weapons of devastating effect, molten cannons, electrified chains, and devices that redirect alien fire back upon its source. Civilians, unarmed and seemingly insignificant, act with clarity under the roar of titanic footsteps. Children and elders alike coordinate distractions, herding creatures toward strategic points, leveraging instinctive patterns I can recognize yet cannot predict. Their ingenuity seems almost divine in its timing, a blend of desperation, intelligence, and unyielding will. The alien fleets falter further,
Their formations shatter as titans crush armored divisions beneath their weight, their claws tearing through metallic holes as if the vessels were paper. Energy beams glance off stone-hard scales, burning away the invaders' sense of inevitability. Algorithms that once dictated battlefield supremacy fail repeatedly, unable to anticipate the humans' improvisation. And each miscalculation feeds into a broader pattern. Humans learning, adapting, predicting in ways the aliens cannot comprehend. Fear blooms within the command hierarchy, subtle at first, then unmistakable. They hesitate, pause, recalibrate, but the humans do not relent. I track a squadron of human pilots guiding a winged leviathan across a shattered cityscape. They dive through columns of smoke and fire, signaling its strikes against alien strongpoints with a combination of gesture, sound, and flashing lights. Explosions ripple across the alien ranks, and yet the leviathan moves with a rhythm that suggests comprehension, an understanding that transcends mere instinct. The aliens, cold and mechanical, cannot grasp the connection forming between species and planet. They are overwhelmed by the precision born from desperation, the brilliance forged in loss, the audacity of beings they once considered weak and insignificant. On the ground, engineers direct torrents of molten lava redirected from volcanic fissures into alien fortifications, forming traps that decimate mechanized troops. Civilians, long thought helpless, climb into collapsed structures, using debris as levers, pulleys, and launch platforms to guide monsters or redirect alien energy into destructive arcs. From my detached vantage, I observe heroism on a scale that defies reason. One man standing atop a crumbling skyscraper, using mirrors and sensors to channel sunlight into the eyes of an attacking drone, sending it crashing into a column of aliens. A child sliding beneath rubble to trigger a sequence of explosives that topples a bridge onto enemy armor. Each act is fleeting yet accumulative, a chain reaction of ingenuity and will that begins to shape the battle. Even the monsters themselves seem to respond to human leadership, not with obedience but with recognition. They strike with precision, targeting alien installations while sparing the humans who guide them. Dragons of rock and magma carve through armored columns, serpentine titans drag fleets into the depths of oceans, and winged leviathans redirect hurricanes and storm systems to scatter enemy formations. The battlefield becomes a symphony of destruction, a concert of chaos conducted by the fragile hands of humanity. From the mountains, I observe leaders coordinating attacks, signaling not just the humans beneath, but the very creatures they have awakened. A human commander points toward a collapsing alien dreadnought. Moments later, a magma dragon crashes down, crushing it under volcanic fists.
Nearby, a group of civilians waves fires along a ridge, guiding a leviathan into an aerial strike against a secondary fleet. Across continents, similar patterns emerge, a choreography that I, even with my vast observations, struggle to follow. It is ingenuity born of necessity, guided by fear, honed by loss, and driven by a relentless refusal to surrender. Each human victory, however small, fuels the determination of others. Survivors rally around each act of courage, adapting strategies in real time, learning from mistakes almost instantly. This is no longer a simple defense, it is a counter-assault. The aliens, once unchallenged masters of the skies, now hesitate at every maneuver, their dread mounting. And from my perspective, detached yet awed, I sense a terrifying truth. These fragile creatures, whose bodies betray them at every turn, have become architects of a force that threatens the very heart of their oppressors. The battlefield transforms into a theater of awe. Smoke and fire curl into pillars that frame titanic wings, molten claws, and human ingenuity alike. Cities are reshaped into tactical landscapes, rivers redirected, mountains scarred, and the skies rent with the cries of monsters and humans alike. The scale is overwhelming, yet beneath it, the pulse of the human spirit emerges, defiant, unpredictable, relentless. I witness an event that crystallizes the turning tide. A squadron of humans leads a leviathan directly into the alien command ship. Calculated, improvisational, terrifying. Explosions ripple across the alien fleet. Energy shields falter. Panic spreads like wildfire. In the span of moments, an invincible army becomes vulnerable, exposed to forces it cannot calculate. From my position above, I record the moment with awe tinged by fear. Humans, once considered fragile and inconsequential, have seized the initiative. The monsters, once dormant, now act as extensions of a species unwilling to die quietly. The aliens, for the first time, hesitate, uncertain, recalculating, but the humans continue to advance, relentless, adaptive, extraordinary. And still, I sense that the climax is yet to come. The Earth itself seems to brace,
amplifying the humans' will through its awakened titans. The battlefield has shifted, but the war is far from over. The turning tide has begun, yet the final reckoning waits beyond the horizon, a storm that even the invaders cannot fully comprehend. The mountains shudder, volcanoes roar, the oceans churn, and somewhere, deep within the planet, the oldest forces of Earth stir once more, responding to the courage of these fragile, indomitable humans. The tide has turned. The reckoning approaches. The horizon trembles beneath an apocalypse that eclipses the reckoning of entire civilizations. From the void above, I watch as the remnants of humanity and the titans they have awakened converge against the alien armada in a final cataclysmic assault.
Volcanoes rupture simultaneously across continents, spitting rivers of molten fury into the heavens. Oceans boil, waves rising like sentinels of death. Storms swirl above, twisted by the flapping wings of leviathans, each gust tearing through alien formations with the force of hurricanes. Smoke and ash spiral into the stratosphere, creating a tapestry of fire and shadow that turns the sky into a living canvas of destruction. I, a detached observer of countless worlds, am breathless. Never have I witnessed creatures so fragile wield forces so unimaginable. The aliens respond with desperation, their warships weaving through molten debris and cyclonic winds. Their energy weapons carve glowing scars into the clouds, yet each strike is met with an unpredictable counter. Titans or stone and magma strike with force sufficient to shatter mountains. Serpentine leviathans drag entire fleets beneath the ocean's depths, leaving only destruction in their wake. Winged behemoths swoop through skies, redirecting storms, toppling warships like toys, and yet their movements are guided with precision by the humans who signal, coordinate, and predict their instincts. It is not chaos, it is choreography, a symphony of destruction directed by creatures the universe once deemed weak. Humans advance across fractured cities, leading monsters through streets, into plazas, along avenues of rubble. Every gesture, every signal, every moment of improvisation ripples through the battlefield with effect magnified 1,000-fold. Engineers divert molten lava into trenches lined with alien armor. Civilians set improvised charges along collapsing infrastructure, and soldiers use the Titan's momentum as weapons against the invaders. Every act is a gamble, every sacrifice measured yet desperate, yet the outcomes cascade into strategic brilliance. The aliens, for all their calculated superiority, are confounded at every turn, unable to predict these creatures whose ingenuity rivals the forces of nature itself. The scale of devastation is beyond comprehension. Entire fleets dissolve in the ocean's cauldron. Alien dreadnoughts topple beneath the impact of magma dragons. Cities collapse in synchronized tremors as titans carve paths of destruction. And yet, even amidst this chaos, humans endure. I see them rising from rubble, dragging the injured, signaling commands across collapsed streets, coalescing into new formations even as the old ones vanish beneath alien fire. Their losses are staggering, yet every life lost strengthens the resolve of the survivors, fueling a relentless drive that the aliens cannot anticipate, cannot counter. In the skies, pilots weave through molten storms and airborne debris, guiding leviathans with hand signals, beacon flashes, and shouts that cut through the roar of destruction. A leviathan, guided by a single pilot atop a crumbling skyscraper, dives into an alien flagship, crushing its hull in a catastrophic impact that sends a shockwave across the battlefield. Explosions ripple through the armada, energy shields fail, and alien formations splinter. On the ground, titans swing their immense limbs, reducing alien regiments to rubble. Serpentine creatures writhe through urban canyons, dragging war machines into deep fissures. It is a ballet of death, a symphony of survival, a testament to the indomitable will of humanity. The aliens attempt maneuvers that defy physics, twisting fleets into impossible formations, igniting energy cores to create fields of obliteration. Yet these strategies falter against the humans' improvisation and the monsters' raw, instinctual power. One after another, alien warships are destroyed, their crews disoriented, terrified, and unprepared for the scale of the counterassault. From the void, I can see the growing panic. Calculations fail, confidence shatters, and for the first time, the invaders hesitate. Their once absolute dominance is broken, replaced by fear of these creatures they once considered inconsequential. Among the humans, acts of heroism shine like beacons amid devastation. A soldier pushes a damaged titan away from collapsing structures, guiding it into position for a final strike. A child operates an improvised guidance system that redirects molten energy to intercept an alien strike.
An elderly engineer manipulates debris to create barriers protecting survivors. Each act, small in isolation, ripples across the battlefield, magnified by desperation, skill, and timing. The human's resilience is almost unnatural, a force that the aliens cannot measure, cannot predict, and cannot comprehend. As the battle reaches its zenith, humans and monsters converge on the central fleet. Volcanoes erupt in unison, sending molten torrents over the alien flagship. Leviathans dive from the sky, titanic claws tearing through armor, while serpentine monsters coil around vessels, dragging them into oceans that boil with fury. Cities crumble to provide pathways for monsters. Civilians guide every movement with precision, orchestrating a sequence of destruction that is both terrifying and beautiful. From my position, I cannot look away. The humans have become conductors of a planetary symphony of annihilation, wielding forces no species should command. The aliens, trapped between titanic fury and human ingenuity, collapse under the unrelenting onslaught. Dreadnoughts explode, regiments are obliterated, and once pristine fleets are torn asunder. Leaders attempt impossible maneuvers, desperate calculations, and uncontrolled detonations, but the tide cannot be reversed. Humanity, once near extinction, now commands the battlefield with a combination of intellect, instinct, and courage that defies all expectation. And then, silence. The wind still. Smoke curls into the sky, and the oceans subside.
The Titans, victorious, lower themselves onto shattered cities, their growls rolling across continents, reverberating in the bones of the planet. Humans, battered, bloodied, but unbroken, gather atop rubble, their eyes scanning horizons of devastation and victory alike. Losses are innumerable, yet every act of survival, every act of courage, has preserved enough to endure. The monsters, once dormant, now serve as both guardians and symbols of a species that refused extinction. I catalog the moment in awe. The universe has witnessed something few worlds survive. Humans, fragile, mortal, and previously underestimated, have reshaped the cosmos, not through conquest, but through survival, ingenuity, and courage. Their resilience, almost unnatural in its intensity, has turned annihilation into triumph. And as the dust settles, the last echoes of war fade. Mountains smolder, seas cool, skies clear, leaving behind the ragged breathing of titans and humans alike. The Earth has exacted its revenge. The reckoning has ended, but its echoes will resonate across the galaxy forever. From my perch above, I record it all: the audacity, the brilliance, the courage of a species that refused to vanish quietly. And in that record, I know a truth I had doubted for eons. Even the smallest, most fragile beings can wield forces capable of reshaping worlds. The silence is profound. The Earth watches. And I, eternal observer, remained captivated by what has just unfolded. Silence stretches across the scarred continents. Smoke lingers above shattered cities, curling into the pale light of dawn. The oceans, once boiling with fury, calm into restless mirrors, reflecting the twisted silhouettes of collapsed towers and mountains carved by titanic claws. From orbit, I observe humanity emerging from the ruins, their bodies weary, their faces marked by sorrow and determination. They are fewer in number, their losses catastrophic, yet each survivor carries within them a spark that no destruction could extinguish. The humans do not move as conquerors. They move as inheritors of a legacy both violent and sublime, a species tempered by tragedy, yet galvanized by the bond they now share with the planet itself. The monsters, once instruments of vengeance, stride alongside them. The dragons of magma return to dormant volcanoes, their wings resting against smoldering ridges. Serpentine titans retreat into oceanic trenches, their immense forms rippling beneath the waves. Winged leviathans circle the skies, their cries now tempered, almost contemplative, as if acknowledging the fragile creatures who guided them. The humans do not command them in fear or dominance. Rather, there is mutual recognition, a resonance of respect that transcends language or species. Together, they survey the ruined world, a silent alliance forged in fire, destruction, and survival. I note the humans' gaze, and it is unlike anything I have cataloged.
It is reverent and wary, a recognition of both their fragility and their capacity. Their eyes do not glimmer with triumph alone. They carry the weight of loss, the memory of the billions who fell, and an understanding that survival is never guaranteed. Yet within that gaze lies resolve, adaptability, and an unspoken promise that they will endure, rebuild, and rise stronger. Even in devastation, they embody ingenuity and resilience, qualities that no alien calculation could predict or suppress. From the peaks of ruined cities, groups of humans gather, surveying the horizon. Children look to adults for guidance, while elders gesture toward distant mountains and oceans, tracing the paths of monsters who once wrought devastation, but now serve as allies. Engineers and soldiers discuss plans to rebuild infrastructure, clear rubble, and ensure that the mistakes of the past do not repeat. The landscape is a monument to destruction, yet also a testament to survival. Crumbling towers juxtaposed against new hope, rivers redirected, forests beginning to reclaim scorched plains. The aliens, those who came to conquer, are nowhere in sight. Their armadas shattered, their calculations undone by the audacity of humanity and the fury of the planet itself. They are a memory fading into cosmic insignificance. Earth, battered yet unbroken, has proven its defiance, and its children, the humans, have proven their exceptional nature. I catalog it all with awe, noting every detail, the improvisation that saved lives, the courage that turned despair into strategy, the unity forged between species and planet. Across the galaxy, observers of other worlds may record this event, yet none will truly grasp the sheer audacity of a species that fought its way back from the brink of annihilation. As the sun rises over the scarred landscape, light pierces smoke-laden skies, illuminating the humans and their monstrous allies. Shadows stretch long over ruins, yet the radiance of survival outshines them. The planet, once an indifferent witness to human folly, now stands in quiet alliance, its ancient creatures serving as guardians and symbols of resilience. Humanity has tapped into something primal and extraordinary, the recognition that true strength lies not in dominance, but in adaptation, courage, and an unyielding refusal to succumb. I, a witness from the void, am left to record with both awe and lingering fear. The universe will remember this planet differently now, and for good reason. For in a single species, fragile and mortal, lies ingenuity that rivals gods, courage that defies annihilation, and a capacity for resilience that can bend even the fury of a planet to its side. The humans walk among the ruins, their eyes on the horizon. The monsters watch beside them, silent sentinels of a fragile but unstoppable alliance. The world itself seems to exhale, the tremors of battle fading into quiet.
And I, observer among the stars, cannot help but wonder, what heights will these humans reach next? What civilizations will tremble before ingenuity born of desperation and courage tempered in fire? This species has defied extinction, summoned the monstrous depths of its own world, and emerged transformed. The dawn spreads across the planet. Smoke and fire give way to sunlight and shadow. The earth is alive, and so too are its champions. The record is complete.